telescope. From Galileo's first telescope to the James Webb Space Telescope, humans have proved that there is no end to curiosity. There is no end to the curiosity which makes us explore our surroundings. So let's explore the history of the device which made us realize what we are. We are nothing. In 1608, a Dutch man named Hans Hershel laid claim to a device that could magnify objects 3 times. His telescope had a concave eyepiece aligned with a convex objective lens. The next year, in 1609, an Italian astronomer named Galileo Galilei heard about the Dutch perspective glasses and within days had designed one of his own telescopes. His telescope was way more advanced than the Dutch telescope, as the telescope he made was able to magnify objects 20 times. He was assigned as a lecturer at the University of Padua. After doing some more research, Galileo wrote a book, Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, Ptolemaic and Copernican. After some decades, scientists began to improve telescopes. Johannes Kepler, who was a German astronomer, studied the optics and designed a telescope with 2 convex lenses, which made the images appear upside down. After studying about Johannes Kepler, Sir Isaac Newton built a reflecting telescope in the year 1668. And this is the reason why reflecting telescopes are also called Newtonian telescopes. The word telescope was created from the Greek words tele, which means far, and scopein, which means to look or see. The telescope made by Johannes Kepler was limited by the effect of chromatic aberration. After this, astronomers were constructing telescopes with focal lengths as long as 150 feet. About the year 1774, William Herschel began to occupy his leisure hours with the construction of reflected telescope mirrors, and at last he finally made himself a telescope. But this was just the beginning for Herschel. In 1783, Herschel completed a reflector of approximately 18 inches in diameter and 20-foot focal length. He observed the heavens with this telescope for some 20 years. During this time, he replaced the mirror many times. In 1789, he built himself another telescope with a mirror of 49 inches and a focal length of 40 feet. William Herschel later discovered the planet Uranus. Then comes the era of large observatories. In the year 1856, Carl August von Steinhell and Leon Foucault introduced a process of depositing a layer of silver on glass scope mirrors. The silver layer was not only much more reflective and long-lasting, but it also had the advantage of being able to remove and redeposit it without changing the shape of the glass substrate. Towards the end of the 19th century, very large silver on glass mirror reflecting telescopes were built. The beginning of 20th century was also the beginning for modern telescopes. After around 3 decades, radio astronomy began in 1931. Carl Jansky discovered that the Milky Way was the source of radio emission while doing research on terrestrial static with a direction of antenna. Building on Jansky's work, Grote Reber built a more sophisticated purpose-built radio telescope in 1937, a 31.4-foot dish. Using this, he discovered various unexplained radio sources in the sky. Interest in radio astronomy grew after the Second World War, when much larger dishes were built. Here comes the era of space telescopes. The Hubble Space Telescope, which was launched in the 90s, was the first ever space telescope. It was named after Edwin P. Hubble, and after the Hubble telescope, many more telescopes were launched in space for research purposes, such as Kepler, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, Cassini spacecraft, and the most advanced James Webb Space Telescope in 2021. That's it for today's video. See you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.